Today we're going to find out how these tools can make building even easier. Let's get into it. Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. My name is Jake, and if you're new here, we like exploring creative ways to use ordinary materials so you can finish your DIY project. We share customer builds, inspiration, and tips and tricks. So if you're interested in those types of videos, definitely consider subscribing. We appreciate it. Building with maker pipe and conduit is really easy to do and only requires a few hand tools, one of which being a 5mm Allen key. Now you can use this really common hex wrench and finish your project just fine. There are some other options out there that make building a little bit easier and offer some more features. In today's video, we're going to take a look at the different options available and compare them based on ease of use and features for building. And even if you're not working on a project right now, this information will still be helpful to you because these are great tools to have around the home and shop. When you buy a connector, we supply the nut and bolt needed to assemble it. And when you're building, the nuts will lock in place on the connectors, which means you only need one tool to put them together, and that is to tighten the bolt. The tool you'll use for this is often referred to as an Allen key or a hex wrench, and there are a few options to consider when building. The first option is your basic L-shaped Allen key. These are the most common and probably the best option for people who only plan on using it once or twice. You can get a single one from us, but most often you'll find them in stores with various sizes all in one kit. Overall, the basic Allen key is a great value, but it does have a couple of downsides. Its awkward shape and small grip make it pretty difficult to torque down the bolts, but the worst con in my opinion is its limited use when working in tight spots or angles. It can be really frustrating and time consuming when working in those situations, which brings me to the next option. The T-handles are probably the most popular option when it comes to hex wrenches because of their ease of use. They get the name T-handle from the molded grip that's on the top that forms it into a T shape. They're usually molded in plastic, but they do have some rubber gripped ones which are really nice. And the T-handle shape makes it really easy to grab onto and tighten down the bolts. We offer a short and long version of the T-handle on the site. The short T-handle comes with a standard flat hex end, and the long version comes with a ball-ended hex. And if you remember earlier when I was saying the basic L-shaped Allen key, it can be really frustrating to work with when building in tight spots or angles. Well, with the ball-ended T-handle, you're able to get pretty much any angle and tighten down the bolts, which makes building and life a lot easier. I will say if you use different sized hex wrenches a lot, you might consider one of the T-handle variety packs that you can find at your big box stores. It might be a good investment for you in the long run. The last few options involve these 5mm hex sockets. The short version has a flat end and the longer one has a ball end. You can find the short version at pretty much all hardware stores, but the longer version is a little bit more specialty and could be harder to find, and we do have both on the site if you're interested. Using these sockets with a 3/8" drive ratchet allows you to easily get torque when tightening down the bolts. The longer ball-ended socket gives you the same features as the ball-ended T-handle. You get great torque while still being able to get those hard-to-reach angles and tighten the bolts easier. I also want to mention the fact that these sockets can be adapted to work with power tools, but I want to strongly suggest against it. We do not recommend using power tools to tighten the nuts and bolts when building. If for some reason you're hard set on power tools, I would definitely use a drill and not an impact, and just make sure to set the clutch setting pretty low so you have a better chance of not stripping them out. And if you do use a drill, then I would pick up an extra pack or two of hardware. That way you have some extras laying around if you do strip it by accident. All of the options mentioned today will be linked down below, and if you want to see another helpful tool, check out this video here. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.